Crystal at Eastern, excuse me, Crystal 4 at Tower Hera, and 1 at Eastern. Did not see what Desert was.
Yeah, and it looks like Xirtanul going right for a Houlihan setup. Looks like he might be going up to check Uncle if after getting out of Link's house. If you're Xirtanul, do you then do all of the front side escape at that point after checking Uncle because you've got a sword? Or do you think you then save and quit to Sanctuary?
You know, I would just keep going through the whole front escape. It's not too terribly long, and it's just, I mean, it's normal routing. So you have that sword already. You know you can take care of everything. I'd go for that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of runners do that. Oh no, he's not going to Uncle. He's going to Eastern.
Wow, this is crazy divergence right off the bat as Kova gets their fighter sword. He looks like he is setting up more hands?
Wow, so he's buying bombs at the shop by Link's house and checking the island item by jumping off, and he sees Cane of Samaria, if I saw it right.
Yeah, I think that might have been. That's pretty crazy. So some really interesting writing by Xirtanul paying off with that knowledge of where Cane of Samaria is. So we know if that is indeed what we saw. We know mirrors and flippers are, well, they may not be required. Depends on what crystals, if crystals are in Mire or Turtle Rock.
I don't want to play too much into the you know, community tropes, but did you just, that might have been Cane me?
I mean, I guess. But I did not see it, and I trust your judgment, so I did not see it, however.
Yeah, a little blurry for me, but it looked like it was the top of Cane of Samaria.
That would be crazy if it indeed is there. So Moon Pearl was buried underneath the dam. So Xirtanul's getting some pretty nice items. Oh, and the flute in the forest.
Yeah, this is crazy early divergence, and really both runners finding exciting stuff. Kova going to be able to activate and get his swag duck on pretty early. We'll see when Xirtanul finds his way back up to Kakariko and Lost Woods.
Yeah, that is one thing. Xirtanul has not even been to Kakariko yet, which is crazy. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to head that way. And Kova, that getting flute either in Kakariko or right before, as we get silvers in mini Moldorms, that's nice. And a Master Sword.
Yeah, this is quite a seed right out of the gate. I'm still crossing my fingers for, you know, a little bit of trolliness somewhere, but looks like Kova headed right to play his Swag Duck anthem.
Yeah, and back to my point, like, it's nice getting that flute either right on your way towards Kakariko or in Kakariko itself, because then you can just activate it. Don't have to really ever go out of your way for it. So that is a really nice pickup, as Xirtanul does head towards the Uncle now.
Yeah, this is really interesting and adaptive early game routing from Xirtanul, and I like what he's doing. He had that early sword, he had a repeatable damage source to go down and get the 5 items out of the mini Moldorm cave. And so he just went right for it and kind of doubled it up while he was buying his bombs to make sure he'd be able to clear CAC, it looked like.
Yeah, no, it definitely very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen routing quite like that, but it seems to be paying off really well for him. Kova does not have enough money yet. That's one thing that we've not seen is really any rupee drops. So that Houlihan's could be a very big thing for Xirtanul right now.
Yeah, the tier 1 tree pull was just green rupees, and I don't think we saw him farm enemies to check the tier 2. So...
it was hearts.
Oh, okay. It was. Okay. Yeah, so no money in the tree pulls, no bombs in the tree pulls, and the early chests kind of betraying him. He's stuck doing CAC right now without bombs.
Yeah, and that is always really, really unfortunate. You have to go back into these locations as he's hoping he finds bombs. He will have to make another dip into the well. Hopefully not have to do that into Blind's Hut either, but we will see if he can find some bombs here.
And Xirtanul is electing to do the front part of the escape, and I like this call.
Yeah, you pointed that out earlier, and I really do like it as well. Like you have, especially now that you got Master Sword, really easy means of navigating through this. Kova still barely getting enough rupees for bombs, but still not enough for the bottle vendor. Meanwhile, Xirtanul has 15 bombs, so pretty different in terms of bombs. Even though Xirtanul did buy some, he got an 8 bomb drop.
Yeah, that 8 bomb drop was pretty exciting, seeing that in an enemy prize pack early. And yeah. I'll point out the guard here in Basement 3. One of the weird enemies, I guess kind of like Moldorm, where he'll take 8 hits with Fighter Sword or 8 with the Master Sword, so I guess 4 spins should, or no, 2 spins should do it, sorry. But it's weird, he'll take 8 slashes of the Master Sword to kill, so spins are definitely more efficient there.
Yeah, that is a lot more efficient. That is very interesting that the slashes are equal to what you would be doing with the Fighter Sword. But he's able to clean them up really quickly with those spin strategies.
And back into the well now with bombs for Kova. We'll see what he had to leave behind in the back here.
Money.
Oh, that feels bad. But he had the option to grab the extra blue rupees from the pots and farm up and be in good shape. And he'll be in good shape after getting back to Blind's basement to pay the bottle vendors. At 74 now, he'll pick up another 30 or 31 here in Blind's hut.
Yeah, and so he will definitely be fine. And as Xirtanul's going to pick up their flute, double quick check, did not expect that to be there.
Yeah, if you're Xirtanul right now, you have to be feeling pretty good about just the rate at which you've found key items so far with the Master Sword, the Moon Pearl, and the flute already.
Yeah, that's very true. And like his routing has oddly paid off extremely well. With how different it was, it seems to have been more optimal than what Kova's had to do, which is pretty crazy to think because it was so kind of all over the place. It seemed like, but he had a plan, and it seemed to be working out really well for him.
Yeah, with the extra rupees introduced into the pool from adding in the Waterfall Fairy Cave, it's been a little lower yield to do that early Houlihan in the newer logic, but the early Houlihan putting him right there at Link's house and setting him up to, go buy bombs immediately, paying off well, whereas Kova kind of got the short end of the stick, hit a bad low percentage situation, and didn't have the money or the bombs when he got to Kakariko. And that's been, the slight difference so far in how the race has played out so far for these runners. Yeah,
very true. And, that as is with Randomizer, there's a lot of chance and a lot of luck involved, and so far that has been in Xirtanul's favor. And I believe, was that a blue bottle on library?
That's what it looked like to me, yeah.
So that'll be interesting. If they get boots early enough to where they've not picked up a bottle, that might be something where both runners go. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. As Kova is going to be able to pick up their Moon Pearl, they'll head probably over to Mini Moldorm and get their silvers and Master Sword as well.
Yeah, Master Sword and seeing early Cape is, to me, always just like a harbinger of Aghanim. So we'll see if the lamp fills out the Aghanim set, and it's possible that might be our route to Dark World in this seed.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as well as I was finishing up my thoughts. That'll be interesting to see. They still have a few places where they can go. The flute can take them at least up to Dark Death Mountain. They do have access for a couple items, but we'll have to see if anything keeps them from having to go to Aghanim. But at the moment, that is looking pretty likely.
Yeah, I think in this situation, I would be checking Eastern, heading over in that direction, or there's potential, but you're really only able to see a small handful of items right now on Death Mountain, so I think that Eastern's the way to go. I'd expect to see the lamp or some other form of progression over that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Having lamp under Spectacle Rock would just be a little trolly. right, so we will get our first Ice Rod cave check from Kova here, as Xirtanul did not do that. It'll be interesting to see if they head that way now that they have the flute. Much quicker to get over there now.
And he has a blue leaf now. Finding the blue mail there in Ice Rod Cave. I wanted to take a second and highlight the custom sprite using in this race. A lot of great work's going on in the community for designing these custom sprites that the players will use. We see Kova playing as the new Nature Link sprite, male color indicated by the color of leaf that Link is wearing to keep him all audiences appropriate. And Xirtanul is using Vivi, sprite inspired by Vivi from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, it's a really skinny sprite, so you have to really know how to do your bomb jumps and be really aware of that. And Xirtanul, I don't think he checked the race game, so went after that. It was just 20 rupees. So that was really interesting. I would not expect him to have gone after them if he had seen it. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was just a gamble, and Kova getting Deadrock blocked there after using the dark
room. On Xirtanul's check, I did see that Desert Palace was the green pendant, so that'll be an interesting location to keep in mind, as we always know that green pendant can always yield an additional item by turning it into Sahasrahla.
Yeah, and we see Kova is going to Death Mountain, and Xirtanul's headed for that Eastern play. Up to 6 items available over here at Eastern, and just the Old Man, which is a logic break, and the red boomerang there on Spectacle Rock for Kova. So that's gonna be a quick end to the Death Mountain check. And so I like this Eastern play, as I was saying. Let's see, Eastern is a crystal, so if they find the bow here, they'll be able to complete it and lock up their first crystal, but bow in Eastern is a tall ask. And it looks like Xirtanul's making his way through Eastern. So far, nothing too exciting. Sir Laugh-A-Lot has let me know that he'll be back very shortly. Some Discord hardships, but the runners are playing on, and so we'll see Xirtanul continue to make his way through Eastern. And Kova basically right behind him, with the advantage of also having done that Death Mountain check. And so now with the big key, Xirtanul will have 2 more locations he's able to check within the logic, but then if he's comfortable doing dark rooms, which I think both of these runners are. We've already seen Kova do the dark room on Death Mountain to go find the Old Man. Then we'll see a few more locations come available. And just the compass there for Xirtanul, so more items left to be found. And there is the lamp for Xirtanul. So that opens up Aghanim and opens up the rest of the Armos, so logic. But the most important thing in my mind, and I imagine in his mind now that he's found that lamp, is that Aghanim is now within the logic, and with the Moon Pearl he could check Pyramid, could go dive Bowless Pod, can do a couple Dark World locations, but can't really access all that much. It would be kind of cruel to put the progress right there on Pyramid.
Yeah, that is definitely something that could be happening, and we know that Death Mountain didn't have anything, so he'd probably be heading there first before going into Aghanim, but this is definitely looking like it has to be an Aghanim seed. I don't believe we checked Agina's cave yet, which would be the only possible location left, but looks like Xirtanul's saying, you know what, I see what I have, I'm going straight for Aghanim.
We haven't seen Zora yet either. Zora still accessible because of the flute.
No, you still need the gloves, even though the flute will take you to 2, you still need the gloves to pick up that rock, correct?
I'm pretty sure you can jump down and walk around, unless I'm remembering incorrectly.
Yeah, I can't think of it properly.
Or no, there is the one rock that you can't get around. Sorry, I was thinking about being up that way already. Sorry.
No, you're good. I thought I was, but I'm not 100% about that. So that's one of the few things I always forget. I'm like, okay, do I need that? You know, it's one of the few places that you don't think about too often because you usually use the Whirlpool Warp to head up there instead of actually going the intended vanilla route.
Exactly. I'm so used to the fake flippers at this point. And speaking of fake flippers, we found some real ones there in the back of Escape. That's also open to the runners now with that lamp. And rightly went and checked that, and so that is going to actually open up now. Yes,
as we are speaking about it, it opens it up. Like, Kova is going to be doing the same thing. I don't believe that they've checked the rest of the front of his. Probably head over and. Well, meanwhile, we will finally get to see what Xirtanul or what the Hobo has, as well as Zora.
Yeah, and interestingly, with Moon Pearl, neither of our runners electing to go for a fake flipper check here. Just Xirtanul finding the real flippers and going up that way. Logic break's something that can be really dangerous in this if you lose track, if you find progress behind a logic break. We've seen a number of runners kind of fall victim to that over the course of the tournament. Neither of these runners electing to do a fake flippers.
Yeah, which paid out in their favor as they did get the flippers pretty early anyway, so nothing too concerning there. So Xirtanul will be finally heading up to Zora. We'll be able to see what the waterfall chests hold, as well as the Zora ledge, and Zora himself will be a life lesson.
Yeah, and Kova at less than or fewer than 500 rupees still. Just checked the stun prize on the green guard in the previous room, and found that it was 20 rupees. So that could be very, very useful for him in farming up and avoiding Houlihan. We see him picking up his 20 there from the green guard in the basement now as well. Good play by Kova.
Yeah, that is a good point to mention. I think that was just rupees on the ledge. I couldn't tell if it was a 3 or a 1, but it looked like it was a triple-digit rupee.
And setting up for a death warp here, Kova, I guess, is going to go find his flippers here very shortly. Unless it's straight to Aghanim.
Let's hope that they don't do that. I would have done that because I forgot about the dark room, and it is just a life lesson from Zora. That seems to be the case more often than not.
Yeah, I think we might see Aghanim here at this point, but it looks like Xirtanul's setting up with a flute. We might see a flute to 6.
Death Mountain.
Yeah, Xirtanul hadn't been up here. That's the one thing. I got the runner scrambled for a second. Forgot that Xirtanul had not gone and talked to the old man, and so with 2 items up here, that's a pretty good check.
Yeah, 2 possible items, maybe a third if you find the mirror, which we know that's not going to happen. And there, we also know that there was nothing up here. But you really want to try to avoid Aghanim, and if you do go at Aghanim when it ended up not being required, that is definitely one of the worst things that you could do. So don't blame all these runners for checking everything possible they can before heading to Aghanim.
I think we may be down to just Agina that we do not know that's in the logic for the runners at this point.
Yeah, I believe you are correct, and I mean, even breaking logic, I think that it's all that's left as well.
Yeah, so right now there's, with no glove upgrades and no hammer, if it's just Agina, then I think we can say safely that it's an Aghanim required seed.
Yeah, I mean, this could be that one time when Agina finally has something of value, but with what they still need to be able to avoid it, it's, like you said, I think pretty safely to say it is Aghanim required.
Yeah, it's not 100% yet, but it's looking that way, but we're gonna find out real soon from Xirtanul.
Yes, we will. Which, now, since, oh wait, never mind, I'm getting a different race confused. I was going to say, I remember seeing Silvers on Lumberjack, but those were actually in Mini Moldorm Cave.
And just some blueberries for Xirtanul at Agina, so I think that's going to set us up for some Aghanim visit. And
Yep.
Kova farming with that stun prize, making really good use of that blue boomerang.
Yeah, that is super lucky that is a 20 rupee drop for Kova. I think Xirtanul has not checked Ice Rod Cave, which is where they're heading now, so that'll be the last place for Xirtanul to check before they head to Agina, which we know will still make them head to Aghanim.
And this is not a way up to Ice Rod Cave that we often see runners take, but with the flippers it's available. And I don't know that it's any faster, but it was interesting to see.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting to see, and it was just a 50 rupee on the ledge, so we will now be seeing Xirtanul head towards Aghanim. This is an Aghanim 1 required seed.
Yeah, and at least it's one of those ones where Aghanim 1's required right away, but without many options behind Aghanim, I could see, why our runners are full clearing Sphere 0 of Light World first.
Yeah, and I mean, like I mentioned earlier, if it is not Aghanim required and you do Aghanim, that's 6 minutes that you just wasted. So you want to make sure that at the absolute latest that this is indeed what you have to do.
Yeah, you can make up a handful of those seconds at most, but especially doing bootless Aghanim, that's very, very low on my list of things that I want in a seed I'm playing.
For sure. And Kova also finding out that Aghanim is now required, so we will have both runners in Aghanim's tower where there's only keys. So as they're running through this long tower, let's talk a little bit about the seed so far. Kind of some hot items early and kind of slow down really fast.
Yeah, one thing that I want to invite the chat to do is we have a little blue ball guessing game for Aghanim. Aghanim could throw anywhere from 0 to up to 15 blue balls. How many do we think we'll see on Aghanim today for our runners? The RNG is fixed for the seed, so both runners will have to suffer through the same patterns. But man, does it feel bad when you have to do 3 and 4 cycle Aghanims.
That makes an already long tower extremely long. I'm going to go with, since they already have to do required Aghanim, though it is early, I'm going to say we're going to see 4 blue balls.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3. I don't think it's going to be too bad for our runners, but I think we will see a 3rd cycle necessary.
Yeah, that could be definitely, and as long as they don't mess up any of their swings, because that is not hard to do, but if you're not careful, especially where you don't know if it's going to be a blue ball or not, you kind of step back a little bit further sometimes, so hopefully they don't make any mistakes and make it even worse than it could possibly be.
Yeah, one thing I learned early on about the Aghanim fight was if you charge a sword spin and you stand right around 3 tiles away from wherever Aghanim is, directly left or right, and spin as the shot's about to fire, you will dodge the blue ball because of the way it's like a 3-fold hexagonal symmetry that the blue ball shatters in. You'll dodge the blue ball hit, and you'll reflect any any actual projectiles correctly, and you'll end up not taking any damage from Aghanim. So that's been useful for me.
Yeah, that's actually something I did not know about. That is really good information to know. So if you've ever been on an Aghanim fight and taking a little bit more damage or having struggles with those blue balls, keep that in mind. That's good knowledge. Anything to help with these fights, especially the ones that you don't do very often.
Yeah, and Xirtanul taken a little bit of a beating from one of the very alert blue guards on his way up, and Kova also not in the best health situation. Hopefully these runners are able to avoid taking damage from Aghanim. Yeah,
and Xirtanul pulling out that cloak just to be extra safe. Yeah, that is definitely something I was noticing as well. Both runners not doing so well in terms of the health, so we'll see. We got one the first shot was a regular ball, and the second one so far as well. So no blue balls yet.
1. And there's 2. That's
all right.
Yeah, the frustration tugs. He has to be careful not to actually hit Aghanim with that sword, lest he be electrocuted, but...
Yeah. That is 3 hits. Ooh, he messed that one up.
Yeah, that could mean the difference between an extra cycle or not. Oh no! Wow, that is one of the most painful deaths to take, and yeah, F. Pay some respects for Xirtanul.
Really is. Yeah, you have to run the whole tower again. There's not really any way to do that faster than what you do initially going through. Don't have to kill as many people, but man, that is rough for Xirtanul.
And I think we stopped at 2 blue balls. I think we saw a 3rd for Kova, but I've honestly miscount there watching Xirtanul. It looks like 4 now.
Yeah, I believe that was the 4th one. Xirtanul did die off of a 3rd blue ball. That is what killed him, so...
And this Aghanim is pretty harsh, but yeah, the way that the blue ball breaks, it won't hit you to the left or right, but it will hit you north-south when you break it, because of it breaking into 6 pieces. Only 2 of them travel cardinally, and the others are kind of skew because of the the kind of 6-fold or 3-fold symmetry there.
Yeah, and it looked like, I believe that was 6 blue balls that we saw from Kova. Again, like you said, I kind of lost track as well once Xirtanul went down, so we'll have to see if that is what it was. And just 20 rupees on the pyramid, so all that work, nothing immediately rewarding.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have progress in pod. I think we'll see both our runners head that way, and Kova gonna need to continue making use of that stun prize, only with 87 rupees right now. It's good that he realized that he can use his boomerang to get those 20s. Yeah,
very good. And Xirtanul getting banged up by that same guard once again.
Yeah, getting revenge, with some frustration slashes on that guard that got him pretty good that first time through.
Yeah, and it knocked him off just barely there, too. So that guard got the better of him multiple times. So that was some serious frustration. Plus dying, I can definitely see the frustration for Xirtanul there.
Yeah, we'll settle that one 2-1 in favor of guard, but hopefully we don't see a round 4.
Yeah, that would be very, very bad news for Xirtanul.
And yeah, everyone's favorite here coming up, bowless, mirrorless pod. This seed is
hammerless.
Oh yeah, and hammerless indeed.
Oh man, that is that is a brutal pod. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I see Flaffy pointing out at least they don't have fairies, alluding to the likelihood of death warps in this bowless pod. But I think Xirtanul would have taken a fairy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that is definitely a good point, that they will not have to worry about accidentally. And they could still pick up a fairy at this point. But at the moment, they don't have to worry about accidentally messing up that death warp.
Yeah, no bottles, no fairies yet.
We have seen a bottle on the library, so that could still potentially be our first bottle. It was filled with blue goo.
Yeah, so now the bottle behind Boots. It's possible that that will be a chain of progression here. We'll have to see what Kova finds in Pod. Just a key and another small key out of the first chest, but choosing to go right for the back as opposed to going back to the what I think is the vanilla big key chest location. I don't actually know the vanilla game as well as maybe I should.
I do believe you are correct. I'm pretty sure that is where the vanilla key is. Not a bad decision. A lot of times those end up being keys, I've noticed, just because the front of Pod seems to be key loaded. Xirtanul does get their revenge on Aghanim and is able to finish off Aghanim's tower. And, oh, the book!
That is progress in a way. Opens up desert, really, but once they can access them, also tablets.
Yes, and yeah, so that does open up desert, which at this point they may not even be able to get any items off of it yet without the boots. So, and there's our gloves.
Yes, that's a good find right there. It's so bad, but it's pretty good actually. So, our runner's finding the power glove, or Kova finding the power glove. Xirtanul will be finding it shortly.
Yeah, that is crazy. 31 minutes and 30 seconds in, and we're finally getting our first glove upgrade. That is super late, and I'm sure they are Kova very happy to see that right now. Oh, the fire rod.
Yeah, all three of the items so far from Pod pretty loaded. Unsurprisingly, given how throttled down the seed was and how linear it's been. Finding the big key. Have to see what is in the big chest here.
That is the luckiest place to have found it for Kova. Oh my goodness, that's lucky.
Yep, still setting up for the death warp here. I guess he's going to go back and use the Dodongos to help him with that death warp.
With Blue Mail, bombs just not going to do near enough damage, so definitely a better decision. Even though he does have plenty of bombs to use, much quicker to go this route. So now we'll likely see him head left, and since that is all that he can do left in Pod. But yeah, 3 items, really nice. 2 needed items. And, well, I guess we still don't know if Fire Rod is needed yet. We have not seen Dark World maps. But Fire Rod, very nice item to have, regardless.
Yeah, we'll see how Xirtanul routes Pod here. If he goes to the vanilla big key location, he'll be able to save a little bit of time over Kova with the routing because of how the keys fell. Kova had to go down toward the bow-locked portion, and we'll have to go back to check the vanilla big key chest, which I think is guaranteed to be a small key at this point, before he can progress into the back of Pod again.
Yep, so based off of how things worked out, Xirtanul making the better decision in Pod, though things didn't work out too terribly for Kova, especially we're finding that big key right before the big chest. That was lucky. If that had been later on, that's something you'd have to go way back for. So I like Xirtanul's decision better, because if that is what happens, that is really a big time sink having to go back there for a possible item.
Okay, so that was a compass. So just thinking about this for a second, the back of Pod now, I guess the right side has to have 2 small keys, or the items that were behind in the dark room, in the dark maze, and behind there, the fire rod, namely, would not be in the current logic because it could be key locked, which would be bow locked at this point. So unless these next 2 are, unless 2 of the items over here are, I guess 3 with the way the key doors fell, are small keys.
Yeah. I mean, we still have 2 items left in the dungeon, and there's what, 3 possible locations where those could be. Because I believe we've found all the dungeon items.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I forgot Kova had gone over and that the book was in that chest behind a door. That makes the key count work. That makes the key count work. Yes. So
that leaves 1 key as well, which will open up Helmasaur, and then 2 items, 1 being on Helmasaur and 1 being on either one of the 2 chests.
Yeah, trying to watch both these runners' routes through Pod, which is already a logically confusing dungeon because of all of the small keys necessary.
Yeah, there's so many keys in Pod.
Yeah, the shoutouts to the programmers of the randomizer for working through the bowless pod logic, even though just today it was revealed that there is a potential, a very, very low percentage potential, for a key lock in a bow locked pod, and that you can lock yourself out of pod basically.
Yeah, that very, very small percentage, but that would be very bad.
It's just that's how convoluted the pod logic is, and just a small shield upgrade there on the torch. So Kova's gonna be able to go and complete Desert Palace at this point.
Yeah, that is very nice to see that boots will not be required. Even if it was an item that they didn't need now but would need later, they would have had to come back for it. But they know that they'll never need to come back for that. So as soon as they get everything else on the right side, we will see if it is both of our items, or our other items, excuse me, or if the Limos will have one. So that'll be something, since it is the green pendant, you kill Limos even if he has a dungeon item.
In this seed, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely in this seed.
But yeah, this seed's so linear, as convoluted as it's been in item placement. Really just forcing our runners to follow one another's footsteps.
And it does it again. It forces them, if you want the second item in Desert Palace, you best be going to kill Landmolus. And it gave you the items you needed to be able to do so. It gave you a fire rod or a lantern earlier. So it's definitely, like you said, been very pretty straightforward. And I did fail to mention that Kova did find a tempered sword in the back of Escape, which Xirtanul has not done yet. So that is why we have tempered sword for Kova and master sword for Xirtanul.
Yeah, this seed has me really thinking about what's going to be coming up next. What progress do you think our runners might be finding?
Oh man, there's so many potentials. Let's see. They still, crazy enough, do not have a way to Thieves' Town and Skullwoods, which is that's just crazy to me. Those are usually the first two places that you can check in Dark World. So they need either the hammer or Titan's Mitts to be able to access that. I think the hammer is going to be the next progression item.
That's where I'm leaning as well, just because that opens up the most things from here. I want to see the world open up a little bit now that we're almost 40 minutes into what has been an exceedingly linear seed.
Yeah, that would definitely be very nice to see it open up like that, and the hammer would definitely open it up the most. It would open up most locations more than anything.
I wouldn't mind seeing a boots to bottle to hammer sequence just to close this out, though, and also to get our runners moving fast.
That would be very nice. Yeah, that'd be. I like that. I like that. And we will see shortly. Kova will be getting an item here and a green pendant, which will give a second item. We'll see if this item is an important one and if he has to go turn in the green pendant right away, or if he can delay that until he heads back before Eastern and or Pod to clear those and try to do it all at once.
With the green pendant in the bag, basically, and book already, since it was required for desert access, do you think we'll see a pedestal check here sometime soon?
Ooh, that's a good point. If they find the mirror before they ever get a chance to head to Skullwoods, I think we definitely see it.
Yeah, definitely then.
Definitely the easiest way to route it. Oh, the bow!
Wow, that is a bow from Landmo. That's gonna send him right back over toward Eastern, I suspect.
It's still very linear. It is forcing them to do what it wants. It's just here's a bow, go kill Eastern, turn in the screen pendant at the same time.
Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot because, it opens up the rest of Pod, and I don't know, they found the lamp and 300 rupees in Eastern, but I can't remember if there was a third item in that first chest on the bridge. Do you remember?
You know, I believe they did find all the items in there, because as soon as they both found that opened the big chest, they both bamped out. They didn't go into the dark rooms at all, even though they had gotten the lamp. So I believe they've gotten all the items there. They knew they couldn't kill Armos Knights, and they weren't going to get any more items, so they didn't bother continuing. So I believe they've already gotten all the items.
Yeah, so we might be looking at whatever's remaining in Pod and Green Pendant at this point.
Yep.
We're seeing that flute to 5 from Kova.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. So you have to do this. And somebody just pointed out in chat, this might be a forced triple dip into Pod. If we get another item in here, but not the hammer, where they are able to go not kill Helmasaur, but they get a required item out of it. That would just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, this feels much more like a V26 seed to me than a V27 seed so far. This is pretty trolly. And,
there's the first bottle.
There's the bottle. Let's flute to 3. Let's see it happen.
He's not going to bother about killing Armos Knights, which, you know, I like this. It doesn't matter killing him. You already have the access to kill Armos Knights. Wait until you can finish Pod, especially if you get the mirror. You can make such quick work of it.
And Sick Kid with just a big 20.
They have to go back to Pod.
Yeah, or it's Pod, it's Catfish, and...
Oh, yes, Catfish.
I don't think there's anything else.
This is ridiculous.
I don't know, Sir Laugh-A-Lot. I'm having a blast.
Oh yeah, I am loving it. But oh man, if I was racing this, I would be like, "Are you kidding me? What are you doing to me?"
We'll see if Xirtanul also flutes to 3 right away.
They are going to finish off Eastern and just get that first crystal taken care of right away. You know, I really don't. I like both decisions. Really, both decisions are good.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward Kova's call here, honestly, with Pod, because I just want to come back to Eastern with Boots at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, they're not required. As far as we know, Desert wasn't locked by them. We don't need the bottle off the library. You know, the only possible remaining place where it would be required is in Ganon's Tower. So we may not get Boots until Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I mean, we might never see him. But just because this won't become slower to access at any point, I think that the likelihood of finding Boots or Hookshot or any sort of mobility item to make this easier, or even Mirror being in one of the remaining item locations in Pod, brings me to favoring the Pod play here.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. That is for sure. But I mean, Xirtanul's isn't a bad decision either. If it works out in Kova's favor, like getting the Boots or Mirror, then his definitely would have been just slightly quicker.
Yeah, it's just the potential of some benefit versus no potential of benefit. But knocking out a crystal is always good. This is, you know, not a bad decision by Xirtanul. It's just it's getting something he has to do out of the way. And maybe taking a little bit more time to, you know, ponder, is this really what this seed's making me do? Am I really stuck with this potential triple dip Pod crap? Because I don't want to do that.
I mean, both runners had a lot of time to think, as Kova was running to Catfish just for 10 arrows and now has to run all the way back to Pod. So this seed is giving them plenty of time to try to process what's happening to them.
Yeah, we've got the Palace of Darkness 2 Electric Boogaloo going on. We'll see if we get a full trilogy assembled, and they can find the hammer in here.
What would be the third title called?
Please make it stop.
I like it. I was thinking something about, you know, the death of the king, but I like yours better.
We could take it toward some sort of Helmasaur king.
All right, so
I'm sure there's some sort of sore pun there. But,
probably.
It would be a salty Pod for sure.
The saltiest. It already probably is. Even double dipping it, needing to double dip is always salty. But we see Kova heading back in there. They have two possible items.
I just realized because there's a key in the 3 chests in the back part of Escape, there are 2 chests there that the runners could check.
Have they not checked the sewers?
They checked the sewers. They went forward through, but got the flippers and then had 0 keys, which means the small key, is in one of the 3 chests in the back of Escape.
Oh.
So that is now gated behind the power glove they found. So
no,
progress might be there.
They went there, and that's where they got their tempered sword.
How? Okay, then I missed it. I don't think Xirtanul went there.
No, he did. He did it after Desert, and Kova did it before.
Okay,
so,
okay. That's where I was missing tempered. Okay.
Yep, that's where tempered came from. Oh, so, the Titan Smiths!
There it is. There's and save and quit right away.
So it is a forced triple dip pod. Oh my goodness.
Shucks.
Wow. Okay, so Titans Mids, that definitely opens up a lot of locations. They now have access to Village of Outcasts, and they did not have access to Death Mountain, which Kova thought he did, hoping he did, and that doesn't quite get you all the access you need yet.
Yeah, Kova was just going to start a Death Mountain to flute to 3 with the health refill. Since it's going to be quicker than Sanctuary anyway.
That is a good point. Good point.
But yeah, I expect we'll see that that Skullwoods here. We didn't see the trip in to check Pedestal. The runners are still optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of options for it to be there, but at this point, no reason to check it yet. Especially, again, you don't have the mirror to make it a really quick check. Oh, we get the ice rod.
Okay, so we are a hammer away and a medallion away from Turtle Rock.
And the mirror, because we'll need this Cane of Somaria, which is on Lake Hyla Island.
Yeah. Sorry. It is the mirror because we need to go actually get that cane.
Yeah, we know where it is, but we need to go get it still. So, all right. So, you know, what can even be on pedestal at this point? Our pendants are Swamp Palace and Ice Palace, and then Desert Palace, which we've already cleared up.
Yeah, so yeah, there's the Mire and T-Rock medallions. Let's see. The pendants are, like you said, Desert, Swamp, and Ice. We already have the flippers. Mirror is locked out. Hookshot's locked out.
Hammer's locked out.
Yeah, Hammer's locked out. Hammer's almost always locked out.
I would love to see a hammer in the pedestal seat one time, just because of how, I mean, pedestal's already rare. That would be even more rare.
Yeah, we know where Kane is. Boots, some form of fetch quest item that leads to medallion or boots if boots turn out to be required for, like, torch big key in Ganon's tower or something. But I think that's what we're living with now, given the distribution of pendant dungeons.
Yeah, I think that's all. It's really, I mean, really, it's medallions or anything leading to them, and a possible boots is all we got left for pedestal. So, because of those which dungeons were pendants, we lost a lot of options because Swamp and Ice both required a hefty amount of items to be able to get into and finish.
Yeah, Swamp has a lot of dependencies with the mirror, flippers, hookshot, and hammer. And those are all kind of big items in terms of progress in a lot of other dungeons.
Yeah, that is a big dungeon for items. So, but
while we're pontificating about pedestal hype, Kova making really nice work through Skullwoods. In the back now needs to kill this Gibdo and get that small key, and Xirtanul starting his journey toward the back of Skullwoods as well.
Yep, and so far all we found was the ice rod. So making the play, hoping that Mothula has the second item, they will be done with Skullwoods. I do like the decision on their part, and I don't think they've gotten the big key yet, so they wouldn't have been able to check that. So we'll see what this moth yields.
Yeah, and the bottle had a fairy in it, right?
It's a bee.
The bottle had a bee. Okay, so we didn't see bee strats on moth. That's right. It was a bee.
Yeah, but does it have to be the gold bee for it to work, or is it any bee? I get confused if that's... I know blind has to be the gold bee for it to actually do damage.
Yeah, any bee will work for moth. I don't know how much damage it'll do, but it'll at least go right for it.
Okay.
But yeah, both of them skipping the Gibdo switch chest for now, hoping that won't be the one remaining item. I see Flaffy pointing that out in chat. I assume that if this chest that Kova's checking right now is not the item, then we'll see a big key chest. The big chest check, and that chest as well on the way back out.
Yep, and we did just get that big key, so that's definitely something they're gonna have to check, which isn't terrible because you have to go past it to even check it, or to get out of Skullwoods.
Yeah, without the mirror, they're going to be walking back through Skullwoods anyway. And so I like the routing, and they're both runners, pursuing the same route. And doing a nice job with it. Yeah,
very nice job. And both had a really, really good Mothula fight. Temper Sword definitely makes that fight a lot easier. And they used all their charges of fire rod shots as well. So both did a really good job on that.
Yeah. Kova, for as good of boomerang use as we were seeing earlier for all the stun prize, I'm surprised that those Gibdos didn't get stunned this time. But made good work of the room anyway.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting. And we will see, we have, the Quake, our first medallion.
Yeah, we got the wavy coin here as our second Skullwoods item, along with that ice rod that we don't know yet, but it could be an important piece of the puzzle. Yeah,
it could. I'm going to go right now and just make the guess that it is the medallion for Turtle Rock. We just got the ice rod that opened up Turtle Rock, helped open up Trinex, and we know where Kane is. All we need is now really the mirror, and we have access to Turtle Rock, if of course that is. So I'm gonna go with it being Quake is Turtle Rock medallion.
Yeah, if we find like mirror and hammer in Thieves Town or in Village of Outcasts, then I think we're gonna see the T-Rock play pretty much straight away, because those are the two items that they need still to go get that cane.
Yeah, and also of note, Turtle Rock is one of the 5-6 crystals, which will open up the Fat Fairy in the pyramid if it does, and Thieves Town is the other one. So going into Thieves Town now, they will be able to finish and eliminate blind. We don't know if hammer will be required to get all the items until we go in there, and if we get the hammer, it won't matter. But at this point, that could definitely be the play that the seed wants them to do.
Yeah, as much as I loathed doing Thieves Town and potentially having to go back for that big chest behind a hammer without the hammer, I think that's the right play, and I think we'll see both runners go right for it here. And
yeah, I agree. They'll probably check everything they possibly can in Village of Outcasts. Maybe do the digging game now, since they do have Titans events. It wouldn't be a terrible... you wouldn't have to go all the way around to get back, but I think they go into Thieves Town before heading to the digging game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that at least a first forecheck. Oh, and there's the mirror in the bombable hut in Village Outcasts for Kova, and Xirtanul going to be finding that real quick.
This just keeps wanting to push them towards towards Turtle Rock. We now have the ability to get Kane of Samaria, which, again, for anybody that may have just joined, is on the Lake Hyla Island. We saw that really early when Xirtanul did a hula hands, and we saw him as he jumped in and saw the island. So we see that for quite a long time. Just now finally have access to be able to get it.
Yeah, and we see Kova maybe adjusting his route. Maybe he was planning to do digging game already, but in response to finding that mirror, that does allow him to go get the frog, go and, you know, clear out the Village of Outcasts area, open up the purple chest, and almost deciding to leave that green bottle behind, but thinking better of it and grabbing it.
Yeah, no half magic, and that I think it's a great idea to pick up that green bottle. Not too much time wasted, and we've already got 2 items out of Thieves Town: 10 arrows and the red mail for Xirtanul.
Yeah, which I didn't see. Did Xirtanul go and see the 10 arrows that were on the bumper cave? I don't think he went over that way on his way out of Skullwoods.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
I'm just trying to keep track of which locations each of our runners has been to, and Kova getting the frog, gonna make use of his mirror right away and see what he can trade this frog for. Frog plus 10 rupees turns into something. Something.
And we get a 3rd item out of Thieves Town. It is just a blue rupee. So far, Thieves Town having some the red mail nice, but nothing progression-wise, and neither do the dwarves.
Yeah, this could be setting us up for a cave of legitimate hype.
You know, I just did a seed today where Hammer was the only item that was worth anything, but it was in Hype Cave. So there is the potential for, you know, it to actually have some hype in it.
And so Kova looks like he's going to, instead of dipping into Thieves Town, do the South Dark World stuff, go down, I guess, do the Grove, the South of Grove mirror spot, turn in the chest. I guess he can check Bombo's tablet there and then head over toward Hype Cave, and if he's found Hammer and Hookshot, that would open up Swamp.
Yeah, you know, this isn't a bad play. You mentioned it, you don't like going into Thieves Town if you don't have the Hammer, just for that potential. It is looking like it may not be there. We have found 3 items, but it can still be there. So we'll have to see if this is a good decision for Kova, or if Xirtanul will be leaving an item behind. At this point, oh, the shovel right before Stumpy. I'd go turn it in.
Yeah, I'd mirror immediately. Get that chest, mirror, dig.
That was again another convenient item location.
That's very timely. Just a bomb capacity upgrade, but good to have that one off the map.
Yeah, and you could not have had that route in better. That was so lucky. Amazing.
Yeah, the seed finally doing something nice for our runners.
Yeah, even though it didn't give them anything of value, it was nice to make it so they didn't have to go out of their way.
Yeah, just you don't want to have to go back for just that. So, yeah, there's a clean South Dark World clear out for Kova, going to be able to do just about all of this. And Xirtanul is about to find out whether the hammer is required for that last item in Thieves Town. I think we're going to see. I think it has to be a small key at the chest by the maiden or blind, and then then blind may have an item or a dungeon item, and that'll tell us.
Yeah, and Spiffers, that is a good point. I always forget that if you mirror without the chest, you lose it, and I've lost it a number of times, and I keep doing it. So good point to mention that, and that's exactly what he did. So yeah, we will see if blind has that last item, or if the hammer may be required. Will be required for the last item, but may be required to get an important item.
And unfortunately, I missed what was in that purple chest. I don't know. Did you catch it? It was a little choppy for me.
Yeah, I didn't catch what it was. I don't remember seeing anything like of extreme importance. It looks like it might have been the bug net. According to our tracker, it looks like Flaffy saw the bug net.
Okay, wonderful.
I did see there was a piece of heart on Bombos. Yep, and Flaffy confirmed that it indeed was the bug net.
And Xirtanul taking care of blind. And while I was watching Kova, I missed then whether blind was an item or not.
It was a full heart. I do remember seeing that, but I couldn't remember what it was. So that does mean that their hammer is not required for Thieves Town. Is hype going to be? No,
that was very not hype.
All right, so Xirtanul's decision to go into Thieves Town ended up working out really well for him. Though he didn't find anything important, he does know that he will not need the hammer to go and clear Thieves Town, which, it being a crystal and of the 5 or 6 crystals, is really nice to have that taken care of at this point.
Yeah, the other one, being Turtle Rock, is maybe a little ways off, but looks like Kova's headed over to maybe pick up his cane.
Yeah, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him head into Ice Palace after this. You have everything you need to be able to finish. Oh wait, maybe the hammer will lock a few items, so I wouldn't go there yet.
And Spiffer's asking, have we done any pod yet? Oh, have we?
Oh, we have. Pod they went into was the very Aghanim was required. They had to do pod for any progression, which they got the power gloves. Then they had to leave. They were able to get some more progression. Went back into pod and got the Titan's mitts. Wait, is that right? Did they get both gloves in pod?
Yes, they did, and they need to double dip to do it.
I did not even realize that until I just said it right there. Wow, that is brutal. They also found the book and Fire Rod in pod as well, so pod had a lot of items, and there's still one more on Helmasaur. So we will have a third trip in there, and if it yields something important, it's going to be crazy, because so far all of those items have been absolutely required for this seed.
Yeah, so far Meyer area coming up pretty blank. But a good check. I didn't catch what the medallion was. Did you?
I did not. I actually was in the process of thinking about that pod thing and completely missed it. So, I just completely missed that.
And Kova, I guess, yeah, the only thing that's really open at this point, even though the runners have the mitts, is using that mirror to go up to Hera. Or going over to the couple chests on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, there's not too many options. I mean, they could gamble in Swamp Palace, hoping to find hammer on that first chest, which would be insane as well. Or they could gamble in Ice Rod, hoping to be able to clear it and find what they need in there without the hammer. So those are some pretty big gambles that I wouldn't feel comfortable making.
Oh, and Meyer is apparently Quake. So that means that our runners could choose to do Meyer at this point.
That is a very good point. They have everything they need to finish it, and, you know, relatively well geared. They have silver, so they'd be able to make pretty quick work of it. So being a crystal, you know, that might be something that you want to go into pretty early now at this point.
Xirtanul headed to the high percentage, low percentage play of the least hype cave.
Yeah.
Gonna get his disappointment package.
Yep. And you know, but again, there's so many items. It's just one of those things that you never pass up, especially when it's so easy to route it into so many different checks. So you never pass up on it when you go there. But at this point in this version, you never really go out of your way for it anymore. You route it in with other things. Kova bouncing off one of the beetles, taking a fall.
Yeah, and it's being pointed out we overlooked the lack of boots or hook shot for that Meyer access. So they can get in, but they can just kind of stare at that gap unless they've got some sort of secret tech.
Well, I mean, if they're really good at hovering, I believe they'd be able to get across that. But
not without the boots.
Oh yeah, right. Not without the boots. Duh. Need the boots for hover. So yeah, definitely need those boots or hook shot. So thank you for pointing that out.
And the first item in Harrow was just a +5 arrow capacity upgrade, so we'll see if the second item is anything, or if, I guess, East Dark Death Mountain is the play.
Yeah, and it looks like there's either going to be one in the basement or on Troll Dorm, as we've now gotten all the dungeon items. So we'll have to see if that dungeon with the tile room is required in Tower of Hera.
we'll see if Xirtanul makes that first chest swamp play. That, I think, is the only other thing open.
Yeah. I mean, they can go into Ice Palace, but again, you got a few chests before being hammer locked on the right side. So and you can't even kill Cold Stairs. So that's a bad play. I'd rather do the first chest in Swamp, just because you either can go further or you're done right off the bat, even if it does take time to do the full check, to do that check.
And that was an aggressive Moldorm there on Kova's side, taking a bit of a fall.
Yes, it was. And Xirtanul pretty much following a pretty similar pathing as Kova did, just a little behind because they did complete Thieves Town, which is why they have red mail to Kova's blue mail.
Yeah, the big difference so far being Xirtanul did Thieves Town, whereas Kova did not. And then Xirtanul took that Aghanim death, but otherwise the runner's really pacing quite well and following one another's footsteps in this linear seed.
Yeah, I mean, neither have really made any gambles. The seed has not let them make many gambles, and the gambles that have been available are not very good. So you can't really blame them for not wanting to do those. The one gamble so far was Thieves Town, which ended up not being anything that's going to hurt, or that it's going to have a dungeon item, so it's not hurting Xirtanul at all. So that worked out really well for him. Well, looks like that's where Kova's headed right now, though.
Yeah, so I think we're looking at first chest swamp.
Jeez Louise. If it's... Oh my goodness. What if it... Well, if it's hammer, then swamp is fully... No, it's not fully clearable because we don't have hookshot.
Yeah, same thing, keeping them from getting to East Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can't do Spike Cave because no hammer.
Now, what if that first chest is hookshot, which will allow them to go into Mire? They go into Mire, get the hammer, which then opens up the rest of Swamp, and also, of course, Pond. That would definitely be this very linear, but super trolly.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for linear progression gating to send our runners back and forth. We know Kova's not going to find anything meaningful here in Thieves Town.
Yeah, they just pick up that red mail, which is the best item in Thieves Town. So nothing for progression, just safety.
And yeah, Xirtanul's going to go up and probably make that Hera play. Check Ether Medallion while he's up here. And find exactly nothing.
And yeah, that is a good point. If you get hookshot, Death Mountain would definitely be the first check well before going into Mire. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. And no, we have not checked Pedestal yet. We got Hammer, or excuse me, the book about halfway through the seed as far as it's been going now, and neither runner has made the decision to go there. And they both did Skullwoods before getting the mirror, which was in the bombable hut in Village of Outcasts. So they haven't had a really quick way of getting it at the moment.
Yeah, so the chat asking about pedestal hype or remaining pedestal potential is, with Mire being Quake, the T-Rock medallion that we don't know, items leading directly to T-Rock medallion, and possibly required boots for Ganon's Tower is what we're down to. So pedestal hype is dwindling. Yeah,
especially seeing that Quake on Mire where we already have Quake definitely knocked down even more of a notch. So we are down to a 33% chance of a medallion being on there that is required for Turtle Rock.
So at this point, once you finish Thieves Town, do you go Hammerless Ice Palace?
You know, I think I checked that first chest in Swamp first. Even though it does take some time to get to it, because you have to do the mirroring and you have to open the dam again, if it's not there, if that is not the hammer, you're done, you're out. Whereas in Ice, if you go through and you check everything that you possibly can, it's going to take more time to check most of the locations without the hammer and hookshot to be able to make certain rooms quicker where you got the red jellies. And if the hammer's not in there, then I think you spend more time running around in Ice Palace looking for it than you do in Swamp, though you have one possible chest in Swamp. So, I would go into Swamp, but then again, I'm not in these tournaments, so there's a good reason why I'm not, because I'm not very good.
I mean, I am, and I don't know if I make that first chest Swamp play, but it would be the play of plays at this point to go and make that one. And I mean, you're looking at a potential 1 item that takes quite a while versus 3 items that take quite a while. And I mean, none of the options available to our runners right now are their first choice of thing to be doing.
For sure. Yeah, Flaffy, that would be extremely rude if first chest in Swamp had the hammer, especially with the triple dip and pod. So, but yeah, neither option available is really pleasant to our runners, but they are at that point where you have to make a decision, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah, calling this in before Helmasaur hook shot.
with hammer in Swamp, oh my goodness.
Yeah, the rare pod where all 5 items are just solid gold required triple dip nonsense.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. It was triple dip, both gloves, the book required to get into desert, which is at that point was our only way into desert, and then the fire rod, which was obviously required for Turok and Skullwoods.
And I didn't want to interrupt, but I do want to say I like this play the Xirtanul's setting up right now, going and checking the bumper cave that he'd passed up earlier, and I think probably doubling that up with a graveyard ledge check.
Yeah, and Kova doing the same thing, so... Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so we're going to see a little bit of a convergence here in both of our runners having exhausted all reasonable options.
I mean, this is the last reasonable option at this point. I don't think Xirtanul has been to Catfish. I don't recall.
I don't know if he made his way up there, but this would be the time to do it.
Definitely. We will see if this is progression or if they have to make a gamble right here. A single arrow.
Just a single arrow. I'd bomb that thing.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. All right, so Kova looks like they are doing the Ice Palace again. Both decisions are pretty tough and never want to have to make them. But I think you are right that possible 3 items, 3 locations is better than 1. So this is I'm torn on it, but this might be the best call.
I mean, this is not a guaranteed 3 items, but you're guaranteed exactly 1 item if it is not exactly hammer in Swamp, which makes it a fairly quick check, but you still do need to mirror transition twice, drain the Light World Swamp, raise the water, or no, you don't get to raising the water, but you have to bomb out a wall. There's a lot of cutscene and wait time in the Swamp check for first chest.
That is a good call, and we get 1 item out of Ice Palace so far, and it's just a piece of art. And to answer somebody in chat, we were not looking for a multi-dip seed, but that is what this seed has given us.
Yeah, at this point, we're just like you. We're along for the ride. Our runners are our tour guides, and we're horrified at what we're seeing.
Yeah, and Xirtanul now making the decision to Ice Palace, so both runners will be in there. Neither runner at this point will be able to gain an advantage if one had gone the other direction. So right now, this time difference we're seeing is in large part due to Xirtanul's death at Aghanim in Aghanim's Tower.
Yeah, Xirtanul otherwise has been doing a very nice job of slowly and efficiently clawing back some of that time, but both runners playing very, very well. And I'll say with this seed, follow the runners. They're putting on a really... This is a fun show, and Kova is setting up perfectly for that bomb jump, just needing to wait on the bomb, getting the right Y pixel right away. Really nice job with the first Ice Palace bomb jump. We'll see if he chooses to do any of the other ones.
Yeah, and you know, this seed has been wild. Definitely give these runners a follow. They are putting on quite the show, and like my co-commentator said, Maniacal, they are our tour guides to this crazy world.
And with first chest being an item and not a key, we're going to see Kova, I think, look for a key here in the Freezor room chest. We'll see what actually happens here in just a second. And it is a small key. I think we're going to see him go back up and skip the bomb jump in the hookshot room.
Yeah.
I never like doing that bomb jump.
Yeah, you know, I had to do it one time because I messed myself up with my key logic, and it only took me... Oh, there's the hammer!
There it is. Ice Palace is completable. Pod is completable.
And now that opens up Swamp Palace. I mean, unless we find the hookshot on Helmasaur or in Ice Palace, hookshot might be in Swamp Palace.
This seed, I'm not putting anything past it at this point. It's been very, very linear and very, very convoluted at the same time, which is weird. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And there's the big key. So we are still missing one item, and I believe it can be on Cold Stair still, as well as, of course, in that big chest. So we'll see if Kova decides to go straight for Cold Stair or check that big chest on their way down. I think we'll probably see a big key chest check, assuming that there's no reason to not. I can't think of a good reason to skip that there. He's fine on bombs. Yeah, and especially with how this seed has gone. Do not leave any dungeon items anywhere. Yeah, I expect to see the Death Mountain check before the Swamp Dive, but I mean, this could be... I mean, this is a bizarre seed. It's a lot of fun, but it's bizarre. 100% agree. Now, do you think they finish off Pod and kill Helmasaur before going to Death Mountain? That is one guaranteed item, I have no idea what it is, versus plentiful items on DM. The only reward there that really makes a difference is if Helmasaur's item is exactly the T-Rock Medallion or Hookshot. Or I suppose Boots is also relevant. But I think I'm headed for Death Mountain, personally. But we'll see what the runners choose. And Xirtanul doesn't even finish Ice Palace, goes straight for Death Mountain after getting all but the final item in here. So that is an interesting decision. We'll see if Cold Stair has the hookshot. Yeah, that is a play that could... I won't say pay off big, but could turn out to be very relevant down the stretch here. Just a shield. So Xirtanul's gamble at this moment playing off. It was a pendant on Ice Palace, which I had totally forgotten about until I saw that. So, you know, this decision might have been, well, at this point, is the correct decision for Xirtanul. He is not leaving anything important behind, and maybe not leaving a pedestal check behind. Yeah, I mean, it's finishing Ice Palace for that last item took a good amount of time. I know in one of my races, I definitely left Ice Palace once I found an item in Pendant Ice and just said, I don't want to be here, and I almost had to go back, but I like the call by Xirtanul. We'll find out very soon what is required for Turtle Rock. Yep, he is gambling on pedestal not being required because it is very unlikely at this point. There is only one real possible item that it can be. The boots are always that, you know, that big maybe because we don't know if the big key will be on Ganon's torch yet. It is Quake! Okay, so we're down to a 4% Ganon's Tower play of boots being the only pedestal thing remaining because we had the double Quake medallion dungeons.
Yep. So Xirtanul's decision looking really, really good right now.
Yep, and right into Turtle Rock, slightly ahead of Kova. And with how linear this seed has been, and the fact that our runners already have Cape, making it impossible that the logic would require that shield, not that they couldn't tank the laser bridge hits anyway, I think that actually puts Xirtanul slightly in a lead for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, and we have... Where was the other shield? We saw the second shield, which I believe...
Desert Torch.
Desert Torch, yes. So, I mean, at this point, it's, you know, if they were to find boots, the logic, but like you said, they have Cape, so logic is totally fine with him full clearing Turtle Rock.
Yeah, this is wide open, and Xirtanul going the correct way for doing the Torch Room hookshotless.
Yeah, remember that he does not have
playing
a hook.
very well.
Go ahead, sorry about that.
Oh no, this just highlighting just that he's making the right decisions, doing a really good job with it, you know, executing this room optimally for the current item set. Very often we'll see runners, you know, autopilot to the typical gear set that, you know, that you end up having by the time you get here, which involves hookshot a lot of the time.
Very correct. And to answer Silent in chat, yes, this will be the only time in Turtle Rock they have everything they need to full clear everything in this dungeon, so I would not anticipate ever seeing them coming back in here once they finish.
And Super Bunny Cave coming up blank for Kova. We'll see. I think we're going to see him go right over and do Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's the play at this point.
I guess there is the Light World checks. So yeah, Spiral Cave and then the 7 East Death Mountain items are available, and he can have his portal there. This is a good check as well. You get 8 extra item locations in, and it's not unlikely that you're going to find something here that will either be required or help you with T-Rock.
Yeah, and at this point, we are looking for one item for a Schrodinger's Go mode. That boot obviously will be lingering, but they will play it off as if they are in Go mode. So the hookshot away from Go mode at this point.
Yeah, and hookshot can be quite a few places, basically anywhere except for the back of Swamp at this point. Plus whatever happens to be found for, you know, if boots are found for Mire access, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we just saw the bunny sprite for Xirtanul for Vivi. Looked like the cat sprite from Chrono Trigger, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't quite make out what it was. It's a little pixelated on my screen, but it was it's adorable. That's what it is.
Yeah, it was a very cute yellow cat, also a little pixelated for me, but I think it was the Chrono Trigger cat sprite, and I approve so much.
Yeah, and that is definitely something with these sprites. It's always fun to see what their bunny version is, and Kova's play not paying off in so far in all these chests. So I think Turtle Rock is his next play.
Yeah, there's not a lot left to the runners here, so 5 items in Turtle Rock plus the Mimic Cave item in the Light World, but really in Turtle Rock that we're seeing Xirtanul get right now. And then the Fat Fairy location will become available once this 5-6 crystals attained. Yeah. So really 8 items behind Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that is a good point. Bombos tablet. All right, we don't need that.
I think we might see a loaded laser bridge here. I expect something like boots plus hookshot.
That would be amazing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know I've seen one item for sure so far. Might have been a second. I think it was a 5 bomb upgrade. But it might be confusing it from something I saw on Kova's screen.
Yeah, I only saw the bomb upgrade, and then the Bombos that was the Mimic Cave item, of course, not part of the T-Rock pool.
Correct. So yeah, there's plenty of items left, and of course, Trinex can have one of those items.
And I don't know what Xirtanul's bottle situation is, but at 2.5 hearts, gonna have to be careful. No powder here for these anti-fairies.
Yeah, no powder. He has the magic, the green goo, as well as the bee. So that is all he's got. So you definitely got to be very careful.
Okay, and he's choosing to use the cape here, which is nice because he's going to get this full magic refill, pick up a couple hearts, and continue on his way. A good health preservation strategy there.
Yeah, and very quick use of that magic cape right there. Barely even took any magic off his beam right there, so he'll be able to have as much of that energy as he needs to be able to do laser bridges without taking too much damage.
Yeah, and with the cape, laser bridges in the logic, which is going to make it tough with his current magic resources. I was going to say, please be Sankheart. I'd like to see... Oh, it looks like he's going for... Wow, a very nice bootless laser skip there.
Very well done.
That is tricky, to say the least of it. And
does it
2
again.
for 2. Wow, the last item on Trinex. He's headed that way, saying, no, I'm not going to bomb out. I'm not going to take a Trinex death. Feeling confident. I like it.
I do too. That definitely exudes confidence, as you just said. So he's going into this. He feels he can take care of it. He will get his magic refill right here, and he has Temper Sword, so it's not a terrible decision.
No, with full magic, he has a few extra shots to miss, and could reasonably cape the last phase of Trinex if necessary. So, I mean, a very doable fight, but still, Trinex hits hard.
Even in red mail, but thankfully they have red.
And Kova also doing a dangerous T-Rock room here with the Chain Chomps. And Xirtanul got to dodge that head, and it looks like he's through the worst of it.
Yeah, that was a flawless Trinex fight with I don't think he missed a single shot with his rods, and he gets him on the wall. Well done for Xirtanul on Trinex.
Yeah, that pretty much a textbook tempered sword fight there. Really, really well executed.
Red rupee.
Womp. Well then, I think we'll see Xirtanul clear Death Mountain and go to Dive Swamp?
Yeah, I mean, I clear Death Mountain, turn in the Pyramid Fairy for the chest, blow up that wall, and then Swamp. That's really all he's got left at this point. This is insane.
Yeah, we're three locations away. Oh, and Spike Cave is now open. I see Kryuji pointing that out. Now with Hammer, Spike Cave is in the logic, so 4 locations left that we don't know about. That's insane.
There's at this point 5 possible locations where this hookshot can, or this hook. Oh wait, no, actually we have Hammer, so Swamp is far more open than I was just thinking at the moment. I was thinking we still didn't have Hammer, so.
Yeah. There's all of Swamp, then the 2 at the Pyramid, and the 1 at Spike Cave, and the 1 that's left on Helmasaur.
Correct. Yeah. Somebody just mentioned that in chat, and I was about to mention it, but you got it. Good job.
I said 4, and then I jogged my memory to say which ones were they.
Yeah. And remember, there's a few other locations. Still, we are running out of locations of where it can be, and I mean, with how crazy the seed has been, it's still stayed pretty linear, and that's what's so crazy.
Yeah, and Thieves Town Big Chest is not an item; it's a dungeon item. Either the map or the
it's been so convoluted, but linear all at the same time, and it's just a weird seed.
Yeah, because of how linear it is, I think it favors micro routing in intra-dungeon routing and execution over an average seed. And so, as a player, you can, some people love that and some people hate it. It definitely doesn't allow for as much macro routing and gambling, though. So that's kind of interesting, this versus a lot of other seeds. And oh yeah, there is the hammer pegs as well. We haven't seen those yet. I forgot that those were waiting for us over in Village of Outcasts. And yes, I see in the chat, Hookshot would put us into Schrodinger's Go mode, as it were. Yeah, we see Xirtanul headed over. Looks like he's going to do Spike Cave while he's up here. If this ends up being the item, I mean, this is absolutely the time to knock this out. So I like the call. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kova do the same thing, just because you won't be closer to this. But this is a lot. I guess they have bottles and the cape, and so I think the way the Spike Cave logic works is this is open. And so, yeah, nothing really there. We're seeing Xirtanul go somewhere. I'm gonna find out where. I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see the swamp play, given that that's the highest density of items. That, and also checking the Pyramid Fairy location. And oh, a death for Kova. I think he killed himself on the laser bridge there. I just looked over and saw the death screen though. But yeah, it looks like that was an intentional death setup by taking that safety there in the back of the laser bridge to get this point. These bootless skips are very difficult for most runners. For me, Xirtanul made them look easy, but I swear they're not.
Yeah, that Xirtanul accidentally buying a couple of bombs from the vendor there as he gets the big bomb as well. So yeah, those intentional door flips are.
Yeah, sometimes you need 45 bombs.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, 45 bombs.
And Xirtanul can go this way. This is good. He's going to use his Aghanim portal and shave off just a few seconds here for his pyramid walk.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the benefits to having killed Aghanim, especially if you do end up needing to come to this area and blow this wall with that bomb right there. So, very good to remember that he had that access.
And we'll see if it pays off, or if we're gonna probably. Oh, it paid off, kind of.
Not a required item, but this opens up Hookshot Cave for one item. Is Hookshot going to be there?
I saw it in a race either earlier today or yesterday that Hookshot was there. And also this opens up, of course, King's Tomb and the Bonk Rocks and some other overworld locations that could be progression, and I think I would check those before going into Pendant Swamp.
I agree with that.
Oh, what it does open up 100% though is Crystal Mire, and that's where we're seeing Xirtanul go. That is definitely the, quote-unquote right call.
Yeah, I mean, going for Hookshot Cave with a possible Hookshot being there for only one for sure check would be very out of the way. This is a crystal, and there are two items. This is definitely the better decision.
Yeah, I kind of forgot, actually, that we still had Mire to do, just for, how crazy the progression has been in this seed for, one reason or another. I was like, we've already been there. It was
Yeah,
great. We went to Meyer. We had our hour and a half, and no, we're still clawing our way through.
Yep, and we've had the ability to open up and full clear Meyer minus that one little gap for so long. So it's just I kind of forgot about doing. There's one item, so we are down to one item left in Meyer.
Yeah, so 2 items left in Crystal Dungeons that are all completable. We could have the Ganon's Tower hookshot play.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that.
I went for that play the other day, and hookshot was at Catfish, and I was sad. But I mean, it's conceivable.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and Kova going for the screen transition setup for the bomb. Doesn't. Oh, he got it. There it was. So
Nice.
he saved just a little bit of time. When the bomb, if you leave the bomb behind and you screen transition with the bomb at 0, you can pick up the bomb that you left behind. I don't know why it works. And
Yeah, it jumps to you.
yeah, I'm not willing to go for it because I don't understand it well enough. But he's about to get his boots and saved a second or two over how Xirtanul chose to do that. But to the chat question of who is in the lead right now, Xirtanul probably has about a 2-minute lead, I would say, over Kova. They've checked almost all the same things, and Xirtanul, by virtue of having gone straight to T-Rock, and then not taking a death, having a cleaner laser bridge, a cleaner Trinex fight, has clawed back a lot from an early Aghanim death.
Yep, I mean, this is pretty neck and neck, but we do have a divergence here. Kova going for the Helmasaur King, finishing up Pod, while Xirtanul is doing Meyer, and I believe he accidentally, he kind of messed up his keys. He went for a harp and opened up the door to Vitreous.
Oh, and it's very interesting. I actually like this play from Kova a lot, because it's basically 0 cost to go do Pod first, because you can always just mirror flute to Meyer and go do Meyer. And if Helmasaur ends up being exactly the hook shot, you end up being able to do Go Mode Meyer and having the opportunity at God Meyer. Whereas that's not something that Xirtanul gave himself the option of. He had to find at least 1 item looking for the hook shot there. So I like this play.
Yeah, and especially where, like you said, Godmire, that big key was in the spike room, and Xirtanul messing up his keys, having to go kill Vitreous, he will have to re-enter Meyer for that second item. So, I mean, with that small mistake, even without it, I do agree that Kova's decision was the slightly quicker one, barring where this hookshot is, of course.
And so we see Xirtanul now headed also for Pod. This will, open up Ganon's Tower for him.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody just pointed out, Xirtanul might have just been go-moding Meyer. I'm not entirely sure if it was an accident or if that was just because of his mistake. That's what he decided to do. But yeah,
I don't know. If the second item in Meyer is the hookshot, then if Xirtanul, I don't know that either runner can hover. I don't believe either runner can hover, but we might find out.
Indeed we will. Well, might. And that might be something we ask Xirtanul in the interview after this race, if of course we have time, which, since they are doing a back-to-back, if this race is close, which it looks like it will be, we will not be doing interviews after game 1.
Yeah, I think that this one's going to finish within a couple minutes, and honestly, after this one, before doing a second, I would expect Xirtanul and Kova both to want a break over an interview.
Oh, for sure. And that is definitely what we like to give them. Give them about 15 minutes in between, and that's all for them to recover. The only way we would have done an interview is if one runner finished leaps and bounds ahead of the other, which at this point is not likely to happen.
And yeah, Flaffy pointing out, not too many people in the secondary can hover. There aren't too many people overall who can hover. I know it's something that I've put off learning because I don't think that not knowing it puts me at a significant disadvantage relative to the field at this point. So I don't assume any of my opponents know how to hover. So when I was looking for hookshot the other night, I was just like, yeah, we're probably both looking for hookshot. As it turns out, my opponent had already found it, but here both runners are definitely looking for hookshot.
Indeed. All right, so now we are seeing Kova finally going in and cleaning up the arm muscle nest, which Xirtanul has done a long time ago, something I actually forgot. Just a little bit of time saves that Xirtanul already has with how close they are. However, with Helmetsword not having the hookshot, there being an item in Mire still, that could be something that, comes back to haunt him if he did make a mistake, or even if he decided to go mode it, having to re-enter Mire.
Yeah, if I'm Xirtanul, I am absolutely gambling that hookshot is in Ganon's tower. It's the highest density of remaining chests, and we've seen a bunch of blank items already, so it's likely that the Ganon's tower quote-unquote bad item roll is fairly low. And so I think that there's a reasonable shot of hookshot being there.
Yeah, that is. And it can be anywhere in Ganon's tower, because except for validation chest, final chest, because of the fact that you do not need it until then.
I think it also can't be in the 4 chests at the top of the hookshot and bonk room, because you would have to bomb jump there, and I don't think the logic requires that bomb jump. So I think those 4 chests are also out.
Good point. Good point. But the big key could be there. Which, if they, for the logic, they would still have to go get that hook shot, where it could be anywhere, and then have to go back, which it would be less places, because you could not be through Ganon's tower towards the top.
Yeah, if Xirtanul would go there and find the big key.
Oh! King's Tomb!
There it is.
All right.
That is go mode at 1 hour and 42 minutes.
All right, so does Kova check that real quick? I think he does. And this, he's going to Mire first.
And Lightyear pointing out it can be north of the gap room, which I suppose is the name of that room, because of boots, which is, the typical way that we do that. But yeah, Xirtanul taking his newly found hookshot, and probably a lot of relief on his way to Ganon's tower. Yeah,
and because he also has all 7 crystals, that starts our guessing game. There are 22 possible locations for the big key in Ganon's tower, anywhere from numbers 1 through 2. Put in your guesses, and Maniacal, what do they win?
You win approval, and the satisfaction that you guessed the roughly 4%er. But I'm always going to guess the chest at the front behind Ice Armos, the vanilla location.
Right.
Do you have a chest that you like to guess?
Yeah, I do the top left chest in Randomizer room. So if they do 2 left and then go, or 2 right, the 2 chests on the right, and then go straight left, it typically is 11 or 12, depending on which direction they open the chests. But yeah, so I usually say 11. It's really hard to say when there's all the different routing, but I'm going with 11.
Yeah, for me, that would be a typical 15, but with the small key and go right for the 4 chests play that's popular, that often puts it at location 19. So yeah. I'm just going to guess 19 today. Why not?
All right, 19. I like it. We've seen, of course, a tile room guess. can't blame him with the way the seed's gone. I kind of feel like it might be a little bit more straightforward, though. The seed has been kind of straightforward. There's the powder.
I'm so happy to find powder at the start of Ganon's Tower, just knowing that I'll be able to refill my health before Mini Moldorm and before setting up for the Ganon fight. It's just, it's great news knowing that I've got powder, so I don't know how Xirtanul feels about it. Probably would have rather had the big key, as many would, but it's not one of the bad chests that's not a big key.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as far as like safety items go, it's one of the best in the game because, like you pointed out, you can refill so many times through Ganon's Tower, through the Gauntlet, as well as right before going into those final battles. It is nice to have that assurance.
And we're about to see chest 6, so if you guessed 1 through 6, sorry, better luck next game. There will be another game immediately following this because these runners will be running it back for game 2 of their matchup.
Indeed they will. We'll have about a 15-minute break or so, depending from when Kova finishes, I believe. And it is not on the bonk chest. It is just a piece of heart.
And Kova starting to take out Vitreous. Don't want to focus just on Ganon's Tower. Really clean Vitreous, missing 1 silver shot, but taking him out with ease.
And to answer somebody in chat, we at this point these channels do not have the bot set up to do the guessing game, so we're not doing it. We don't have a start or stop for these channels at the moment. I do not know the plans for that at this moment, but at this point, it is not something that is in the channel.
We're coming up to chest 12 at Firebar Room, or location 12, sorry, at Firebar Room. 50 green rupees. So, nothing yet.
Nope, and Kova did do a similar route as Xirtanul did through Mire, but decided to go back in, which, as we know, is not the right play. They're going to be spending a lot of extra time through Mire, where King's Tomb has the hookshot.
Yeah, looking for just the hookshot. Doesn't want to leave an item behind. In this seed, and just in a general sense, definitely don't blame Kova.
Nah.
Just not going to work out this time. We'll get to see what the other item in Mire is, though.
Yeah, well, indeed we will. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anything that can help him make up any incredible amount of time through Ganon. If it was the silvers, that could have been something that might have been huge, but at this point, he needs to get out of Mire and into the King's Tomb before that hookshot. And there it is!
By inversion symmetry, I think you win this one. I think that was 14 as well. If there are any 14 guesses in the chat, let me take a quick look.
We had a 15.
Oh, Velenov guessed 14, the first guess we had. So congrats, Velenov. You were the sole guesser of 14. The only winner today. It was 15. Shucks. Was it? Let's see. I gotta count it.
I think it was 15.
I'm bad at counting. Okay. Well,
and to
Velenov,
answer...
we all got debated. I got debated. You got debated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
it's hard. You have to keep paying attention for that kind of numbers. And to answer Sarah Zelda, they have not scheduled a possible game 3 at the moment, so that is something we'll have to look forward in later. If this does go to 3 games, we'll have to see. Xirtanul still has to finish and win this to get the win here. He has not been the winner, as Kova is now officially in go mode, getting their hookshot.
Yeah, both runners going right for King's Tomb. Really just nice, a quick check before going and gambling on GT or some other location where they wanted to go into, Pendant Swamp. Pendant Swamp avoided by both runners. I think in Kova's situation, that's what you're hoping is like, if my opponent went Pendant Swamp, then I could be ahead.
Yes. And I just did see, as Kova is filling up with some potions, never a bad idea. It was, in fact, the golden bead that they had picked up. He did not talk to the assistant to get a heart refill, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I know I've forgotten that one as well, just like in my haste and worrying about all the other things that are going on in a seed, just forgetting to take that free refill, but a very useful thing to know about, the Witch's Hut Assistant will give you full health. Basically a free red potion if you just talk to her.
Yeah, there are 3 locations that I know of. The old man in the cave that you rescue, as well as Zelda from the sanctuary, and then, of course, that assistant we just talked about. I believe those are the only 3.
Yep, those are the only 3 that I know of. I guess unless you count both of the sprites at the top of Sanctuary. You can talk to either of them, but I mean, really three distinct locations.
Correct. And yes, to answer in chat there, it's hard to really say. Might be about 5 minutes behind, but a more accurate way to measure it is, as somebody pointed out, it's Ganon Falls. It's a unique measurement that we have. It's probably about 4 Ganon Falls at this point. It depends on if they go full right, they'll make up a few seconds, but Kova is a good chunk of time behind it right now.
Yeah, and we can hope that Kova goes right for the big key, makes up a few seconds, but hopefully dodges something like a tile room gamble.
Correct. That would spell doom.
But Xirtanul getting hung up a little bit in the torch room here. See if he can make it through in time. I think he still has enough time to get through this door. And yeah, there he goes.
When I first started playing Zelda, that fire torch room, I fell and messed it up so many times. I probably rage quit there more than anywhere else in this entire game.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a player, suffer through that room or rage quit. It's not an easy room, even though, these runners are quite good and will generally make quick work of such a room.
Yeah, I'm just a noob. So these guys are not, however, as Xirtanul is on Moldorm 2, and Kova did decide to just do the quick 2 chests on the right and head left. So they will make up a few seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of time there. And checking what we call the validation chest there for Xirtanul. Finding 20 rupees, just the last chest you can find there. Nothing exciting, but showing us what was in it.
Indeed he did. Oh, I think that was a triple. It was really close to a triple.
Yeah, and just a single on the second round there with the blue ball preventing the double triple. But taking a hit and getting some frustration slashes out, but it looks like he'll be set up here for a nice 4 round. And it looked like only 2 of those from the first 3 registered, because I guess 2 of them were a little too close together.
Yeah.
2 of that last round did need to hit before Aghanim fell, but a very clean Agha2.
Yeah, and so if you do not know, on the Aghanim, if the balls hit him at the exact same time in the same pixel, it actually only counts as 1 hit. So you have to have a slight pause in between each hit for it to register independently, which is what it looks like happened to Xirtanul, and he heads into Ganon. 4 phases with Temper Sword and Silvers should be able to make pretty quick work of Ganon.
Yeah, get the breakfast comment created for your incredible insides from Ganon this time. I'm a fan of the spicy barbacoa burrito, but Kova getting his big key there, and also going to make his way up Ganon's tower. But Xirtanul here has quite a lead into Phase 3 and probably pretty quickly into Phase 4.
He does need to be careful. I don't think he's got any health potions or blue potions, so he's got to be careful. He's only down to 3 hearts.
Yeah, a Ganon hug here. That could make a difference.
Yes, it could. But he has pushed him to the 4th phase, so just 4 hits with the silver arrows. Definitely, with silvers, one of the easiest phases, actually the easiest phase in this fight.
Yeah, and nailing his torch glitch and setting up very nicely for his silver shots. And there it is. Ganon has fallen, and GG to Xirtanul, who will finish this race in first place with an official SRL time that is not showing up. I see the dot done, and the race bot's broken, so that's interesting.
Yeah, the race bot quit. Anyways, GG to Xirtanul. He will go up 1-0 in this. As soon as Kova finishes, we will have about a 15-minute break. And let's see. It looks like he will continue still.
Yeah, so we'll say it was an official SRL time of 1:54 flat.
Yeah!
Yeah, race bot just not participating today.
Took the day off.
I was gonna say, I'm not surprised after this seed.
It is so fitting. Oh my goodness.
It had one troll left in it.
Yes, it did. And, I mean, we gotta talk about that sentence right there. Well, that just happened. That is so fitting to the way this seed went.
Yeah, the quotes at the end of the runs seem to be really apropos of how the seed has actually gone in V27. It's really strange. Like, I've had an absolute jet seed say just "we." A lot of like "welp, that just happened" type stuff. This might be the best of them, though.
Yeah, with the way the seed went, it is amazing.
That is the essence of what we have watched for the past, hour and 56 minutes now.
So true. I mean, we've mentioned it multiple times already, but it was so linear yet so convoluted. I just can't believe the way the seed went. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it absolutely was pretty crazy. I was just taking a look at the SRL chat. The runners saying, "Welp, that triple dip pod."
Oh man,
having a good laugh about just how crazy this seed really was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, forced Aghanim 1, triple dip pod, and yeah, crazy seed.
Yeah, both runners that they're finishing this in, sub 2 or the low 2-hour range. Just a testament to how good each of these players is at this point in this tournament. These guys both put on a really, really nice run. If you haven't taken the chance yet, I encourage you, go give these guys a follow if you want to see more races like this. These guys are in this tournament for a reason and are both very good at A Link to the Past Randomizer, and I'm sure put on a great show all the time.
Yeah, definitely give them a follow. And I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our tracker, Flaffykins, stepping in last minute for us. Thank you very much, making it so we don't have to worry about that, as well as our restreamer, OPT Lawyer, taking care of everything, making all this possible so that we could watch these two, give us a great show. And then, of course, my co-commentator, Maniacal. Thanks for talking with me today about this crazy seed.
Oh yeah, this has been a great seed. I feel privileged to have been able to commentate on it, honestly. It's been a blast. And Kova getting that triple, I don't want to take away from that. We'll see if it registered, but no, it did not. It was just too close, but also taking that nice Aga 2 setup. But thank you also to Sir Laugh-A-Lot for the co-commentary. This has been just a blast.
It really has been. I mean, most of the seeds are pretty fun, but this one just had so much in it. It was very fun, and I enjoyed watching these runners give us everything that they had for it.
Yeah, and I see Xirtanul has made his way into the chat, blaming DT for the seed, and I can't say DT's not at fault. I think he generated this seed, so he blames himself too.
Yeah.
And Kova on to Ganon, doing a good job here through phase 1, setting up for phase 2, getting ready to open it up with that spin. And yeah, this should be a fairly quick phase 2. Got trapped inside the Fire Bat circle, and doing a really nice job not taking too many hits.
Yeah. Set that up really nicely, and it does have to be careful though, is running really low on health, down to 1.5 hearts. A hit from anything at this point will kill him. He does have a blue potion, so we might see him take that as safety, but you know, maybe not. He is just kind of racing to finish. It does not matter whether he finishes or not at this point. It is a pride thing, and a show.
Yeah, I'm always very, very happy to see runners choose to finish up the seed, especially when it's close like this. I know a lot of runners just, once it's no longer relevant, a lot kind of, you know, goes out of them, and they're just like, it's just playing it out at this point. But I'm always happy to see runners choose to finish strong, and so, you know, impending GG to Kova for doing that, and now actual GG to Kova as Ganon has died.
Correct, and it does not look like that the race bot will give us an official time for Kova either, but I say we'll give him a 2 hour and 30-second seed, something like that.
Yeah, why not? 2 hours, 30 seconds, you know, right around, what, 5 minutes behind. Really well played by both runners. Honestly, they both did a masterful job with just navigating this seed, realizing that Pod was going to be that triple dip, and just getting it done. Having to do basically a bunch of extra dungeons for Pod triple dip is still insane to finish it with a time like this.
Yeah, very, very well done. They navigated the seed extremely well, and Xirtanul is in chat mentioning that he did accidentally spend that key and decided from that at that moment, well, might as well go mode it now. Worked out in his favor. So GG's to Xirtanul for the Game 1 win, and also GG to Kova for finishing up, again, navigating quite the seed with that triple dip in Pod.
Yeah. That's nice that Xirtanul answered that question for us, because that was the one kind of interview question we had for this race. Not the only one. There's plenty, but that was the one big one where we weren't sure what the intent was.
Exactly, for sure. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and give one more quick shout out to both runners, Xirtanul and Kova. If you have not given them a follow, please do. They have put on quite the amazing show, and they will have another race shortly. I believe about 15 minutes from now. Give both our runners a break. Let everybody get a chance to recover from that. And a quick shout out to OPT Lawyer once again for restreaming this, and Flafikins for tracking. I have been Sir Laugh-A-Lot. It has been a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, and Sir Laugh-A-Lot, champ that he is, as fun as it was to commentate with him, he's going to be here again for the next race. I've been maniacal. I'm going to be gone. I have a race that I actually need to prep for and some things I have to take care of, so I can't stick around. I think that I'll be replaced by the Shades, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure if that was settled, but there will be someone else joining Sir Laugh-A-Lot for commentary for the second race. I had a blast. I think I got lucky with which seat I got to commentate here. That was a lot of fun. GG again to Xirtanul and to Kova. I'm excited to see the second game, but I just won't be commentating it. And thank you to chat for keeping us on our game and correcting us when we went astray. It was a lot of fun.